Presents Travel and Tourism is supported by Reading Regional Airport.
And welcome to RAC Presents Travel and Tourism. My name is Lucia Torsha Thompson, and I'm the coordinator of the Travel and Tourism curriculum at Reading Area Community College. This television program is dedicated to bringing the home viewer information about the world and information about the travel industry in general. With me today is my co-host, Jonathan Uhrig. Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, Lucy. Thanks for having me on again.
You're welcome. He's the flight dispatch supervisor with Allegheny Airlines in Harrisburg. I'd like to remind all of you that this television program is underwritten by the Reading Regional Airport, and we thank them for their support. Remember that the airport is a valuable asset to this community. They provide the first steps out of Berks County to destinations worldwide. The airport also brings visitors to Berks County, which can boost our economy. So fly Reading Regional Airport and think of them first. If you remember last month at the end of the show, I was on my way to take Jonathan to the bus station for the first leg of his trip out west. And today what we're going to do is show you that trip. If you have any questions, the phone number will be on your screen. It's 610-378-0426. And let's start in right away. You left at around, we left here at 12.
Yes.
12 o'clock.
Yes, we left 12, and then you took me down to the bus station.
Right.
This trip I took, Lucy, was a little bit of a departure for me, no pun intended, but I want to do something different here. I usually go to a destination like Rome or I go to Paris. I stay in one area and see a lot. This one, I wanted the bus trip to be the adventure, so I covered much more area, but I didn't cover as much as I would have liked to. But I just wanted the bus trip to be the adventure.
And you were away for how long?
I was only away for about a week, actually. It took me about 5 days to get up there, and I stayed overnight in Toronto on the way back, and then I flew back on Air Canada.
Okay.
Basically what I did was, I have the map here. I took a 4,000-mile bus trip. I started in New York City.
I'll help you hold that.
I started in New York City, and I progressed up into New York State, up into Ontario. And Ontario is a very large area, Lucy. It took me over 24 hours to get up there, up through there. Yes, I progressed up Toronto, up to Sudbury, and I progressed west over to Manitoba, to Winnipeg. Then I went up to Saskatoon, Saskatoon up to Edmonton. And we're going to talk in depth about Edmonton. Edmonton has the world's largest mall in the world. And Edmonton, from there, went up into upper reaches of Alberta, up into British Columbia, and finally up into Whitehorse, Yukon, which is just east of Alaska here, to part of Canada. It took me 4 days. I left, like I said, on that Thursday, and I got up there on Monday, actually Tuesday morning at 4:30 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was very good adventure for me.
Why did you, and you decided to take the bus because you wanted to experience the bus? The bus trip is actually the adventure.
You meet a lot of people on the bus. A lot of people kind of refrain from the bus, but for the adventurous person like me, you know, it can be very interesting. And I did meet one person on the bus. He was a kayaker, and I was talking to him. He was on the bus with me for about a good 6 hours, and we were talking about all his adventures, all the adventures I've done in my life, like the Trans-Siberian trip. He talked about going kayaking all throughout Alberta and all throughout the Great Lakes, and it was very interesting.
Wow.
And I'm going to hook up with him because he did give me my email.
Great.
Or I gave him my email. He gave me his email.
That's wonderful.
And, yeah, very nice.
So you meet a lot of people. It takes a long time, though, you have to admit.
Yes, but if you're mentally and physically prepared for something like this, it really is not bad. I slept very well, surprisingly.
Really?
I mean, not everybody can do that, but not everybody can, you know, get on a bus and, you know, just sleep. I'm up for anything.
Good.
You know that.
I know. Why don't we go to the pictures?
Yes.
And we can start showing some of the adventure, because you have a lot of pictures to show.
Yes, and this is very interesting here. This is Ground Zero. I left here at Reading about 2 o'clock. I got up there about 4:30, and the bus driver apologized for being early.
Oh dear.
And we were supposed to get there at 5, and I got there at 4:30. I took the subway down to Ground Zero, and you can see it's fenced in because they're still doing work on repairing the subway.
This was before the anniversary.
Yes, this was on. This picture was taken actually 1 week before. This was September 4th. This is the World Financial Center, which sustained some damage, but they've pretty much cleaned it up and they're fixing it. A lot of buildings around there, Lucy, there's a lot of scaffolding. They're still fixing buildings up there. And you can see, you can still see a lot of the damage up there from that day.
There.
Here is, they made a monument. This is the cross of beams that was found in the rubble. And they have, you can see a little concrete base there, and you can see the beams
Right.
formed into a cross.
Is that going to be part of whatever it is that they rebuild?
I believe so. I think that's
they're
going to
gonna
become
rebuild.
part of the monument, yes, the memorial. This is Trinity Church, and I don't know if you can see it real well in this picture, Lucy, but when I was up there, you could see a discoloring on that steeple. One side of it is like a black color, and you can see the lighter color, which is still the dust.
Oh my goodness.
But you can't really tell from this picture, I guess, but you can, when you're up there, you can really see it. It's really...
That was the church where they had the rescue, I mean, the teams would go in there to rest, right?
Yes,
That was
yes.
close by.
And you could see, remember from pictures, you could see in the graveyard, in the yard, they had a lot of the dust there.
Yeah.
Yes. The dust covered some 20 blocks, I believe, from the collapse. This here, Lucy, this is traffic on the Brooklyn Bridge, and the reason I put this picture in is I wanted to show you the contrast. This is rush hour in New York City, and if you go to the next picture, I believe, I hope it's there, this is rush hour in Wainwright, Alberta.
Oh my.
So you can see the contrast of this trip.
Oh
I
my.
covered a great,
A spectrum.
yes.
Oh my. From one end of the continuum to the other.
This is back in New York now. This is Chinatown. And Chinatown is down on Canal Street for the traveler. It's in lower Manhattan. Canal Street leads into the Holland Tunnel, I believe, and you get a picture like this because it gives you a good indication of what you see there. A lot of seafood shops, restaurants, and the people are very friendly. They'll let you take pictures. It's very touristy,
Right.
you know.
Right.
And this, you'll be glad to see this,
of
Lucy.
course.
Little Italy.
Yes.
Little Italy is Mulberry Street. It encompasses some 5 or 6 blocks, I believe, going from Canal Street up to Broome Street. And at the far end of that is St. Patrick's Cathedral, the old St. Patrick's before the one that was built on 50th Street and
Yeah.
5th Avenue. The old St. Patrick's is on, I think it's Prince Street. I want to say Prince Street in Canal or Mulberry, but I'm not sure.
It's congested though, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And
congested.
as I progressed up towards Midtown, I saw the usual
Yeah.
sight to see, Radio City Music Hall, and it's very good. They run bus trips up to Radio City to have their Christmas shows coming up next month, and
Well, this you did while you were just walking around waiting for the bus to go up.
Yes, I
Okay.
left very late. I left about 11:30 at night on the bus in the Port Authority building on 40th Street. So I
You had the opportunity
I had the
to-
opportunity to see many things. I went to Times Square, and you can see all the theaters and the lights. It's very nice at night.
There's a lot of people out too.
Yes, and that's very late at night. That's about an hour before I was to get my bus. So, like the city never sleeps. It's they
Exactly,
say that for
yeah.
a reason, you know. And that's the building where the ball comes down every New Year's.
Okay.
It was the Allied Chemical Building. I'm not sure what it is now. I'm not sure what they call it now. The picture of me, I had to get myself so you can see
Of
what I look
course.
like in Times Square.
To prove that you were really there, Jonathan.
Yes. Another view from the opposite end.
Certainly there's a lot of lights, Jonathan.
Yes. One thing I want to mention, Lucy, they do have a hotel. This is what I want to talk about. This didn't come out too well, unfortunately. They have a hotel up there called the Marriott Marquis, and they have a bar in there. It's up on the 48th floor. It used to be on the 8th floor, and the bar completely rotates.
Okay.
So you can get one revolution, you can see the whole city, but unfortunately it's the 48th floor. Personally, I liked it better when it was on the 8th floor because you're right on top of everything. But you can still see, you're up there with all the skyscrapers atop, so it's like you're on top of the world up there,
Right,
so it's really
right.
nice. This is another view of, this is actually 42nd Street, and this is where I'm progressing to go down to the Port Authority.
Where were you that you took the picture of the Marriott? You were in another building.
That was the Marriott. That
You
was
were- that
looking
was taken-
in the Marriott.
okay,
And I'm looking
okay.
out over the other buildings
see,
in
okay.
Manhattan. Yes. My first stop on the bus. This is the next day now, Lucy. This is the city of Toronto, and what Toronto has many good places to see. But there's the CN Tower. The CN Tower is the Canadian National Railroad. That's what it stands for. Unfortunately, I was unable to go up to the top of this, but I did some research, and you can actually go up here, up to this tower, and it gives you a panoramic view of the city. But what's different about it is the floor. The floor is glass, so it looks like you're floating in midair. So it's really not for the faint of heart if you're
No,
afraid of heights.
Yeah, I couldn't do
But
that.
you can get views from top, and you can actually look down through the glass down into the street.
My goodness, that's what makes it famous then, I guess.
Yes.
Oh
very-
my.
Oh, this one got out of sequence. This is actually the GE building, and this is floodlit at night. This is taken from St. Patrick's Cathedral.
Okay. Oh, that's back in New York then?
Yes.
Okay.
This, Lucy, here is the bus stop in Wainwright, Alberta. Remember Wainwright? I was explaining to you. That's where that
The traffic
the
jam.
traffic jam was. The person on the bicycle. This is just a station stop. I wanted to get a picture of this because I thought it was very interesting the way the terminal was with the Tudor style
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Kind of.
And this is north, even more north than Edmonton, because Edmonton is kind of like in the middle of Alberta. This is further north, right?
Yes. Well, actually, no, it's the south.
Oh, is it
I'm going,
south?
this
Is it
This is
before?
before Edmonton.
Okay,
Yes.
before Edmonton then.
This is Winnipeg, and there's the legislative building. I only had a few hours in Winnipeg, so I went ahead and I did get a few shots. One thing I did tell you about before was interesting about Winnipeg. I was crossing the street and I could see this vehicle bearing down on me, and I didn't know what it was. And I was trying to cross the street. Unfortunately, I had my camera in my hand in my case, and I couldn't get out in time. It was the Partridge Family bus. So remember that from
Yeah,
the TV show?
yeah,
and
and
I
I-
didn't have enough time that I could, get a shot of it.
And I wonder what they were doing up there.
I don't know. I don't know if it was somebody who liked the show, who painted their
bus that
like
way.
that, or it was the original, but I don't know.
We have to do research and find out.
Probably on the internet, Lucy.
I think, yeah.
This is the Hudson Bay Company. Hudson Bay Company is one of the stores. It's like the Saks Fifth Avenue, or
Okay.
the Gimbals, or the old Gimbals, or what we have here in the United States, but that's a Canadian store. And I just wanted to get a shot of the building.
It looks like the old Pomeroy's. Doesn't it remind you of that?
Yes, it does. But see, understand, Lucy, that goes for like blocks and blocks, that building.
Wow.
Now this is Edmonton, and this is what I want to talk about, Lucy. Edmonton has the world's biggest mall. It has some 900 stores. It has bridal shops. It has a wave pool, like you can see here.
Yep.
It has roller coasters, amusement parks. It has just about everything.
And if my dad is watching, Daddy, you were here. Remember? You saw this mall. I didn't. You did.
Very good family place. It's called the West Edmonton Mall is the name of it, and it is on the web. I did a little research. That's when I found out it was 900 stores, and actually I thought the Mall of America was bigger.
No,
but it
this-
turns
this
out
one
that
is bigger.
Edmonton is a bigger mall.
The Mall of America is in Minnesota.
Minnesota and Minneapolis, yes.
Okay. Our good friend Rose goes there all the time.
Yes, yes. And this is, I just want to show you the Saskatchewan. This is what your typical scene is in Saskatchewan. It's much flatter. And I found out that the reason it's much flatter than the eastern parts where Ontario is because Ontario is rocky because of the old Canadian Shield. Thousands of years ago, the ice, during the Ice Age, that's where all the glaciers formed, and that's why Ontario is much more rocky than Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan is much flatter, as you can see.
Right.
The people make their living through farming, and you'll see endless rows of rolled hay.
And it's like the breadbasket of
Yes,
Canada.
like
There's
the
a lot
Kansas of Canada, yes.
Exactly.
This is taking another picture back in the Edmonton Mall. There's a farm up there, or a zoo, and what they do is they bring one animal in every week. This week it happened to be the turkeys, and you'll see, it's just a surprise at what you'll see in this mall. They have turkeys running loose. Imagine seeing that at the Berkshire Mall or the Fairgrounds Mall.
I don't know if
but-
I'd like that. But
Actually,
anyway.
I did get a picture taken with one. They had two of them there. But one of the turkeys took a nip at my hand. I guess I
see.
was handling them in a little rough, so.
Jeez.
Inside the mall, they have this pirate ship.
Don't they have the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria?
This ship is called the Santa Maria.
Okay.
And it's actually, that's a misnomer. I meant to say it's from the Columbus's time. I
Columbus,
said
yeah.
it was a pirate ship. It's
I was
not a
going to
pirate
say,
ship.
yeah.
But it's just for the kids, you know.
Yeah.
That's why they want to make it touristy, and it's very nice. And actually, they have in a little pool there where the kids can actually race little boats, and they have little steering wheels, and you can race them. And
Is this boat in the water, or is it?
yes, it's in the
It's
water.
in the water.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So they have the wave pool, and then they have another section where they have this, right?
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Also, I wanted to mention, Lucy, in this mall they have different themes. They have a Chinese theme, they have a Bourbon Street theme, and they have different themes throughout the mall. This one here was a tea room I went to, and they literally have about 100 different kinds of tea you can get. And what they do is they put tapioca pearls in it. It's very nice. It's very good. They give you a straw, and you can suck the tapioca pearls right through them.
My mother would like that. She loves tapioca pudding.
Yes.
You can continue with the pictures, but let me just reintroduce the show. This is RAC Presents Travel and Tourism. This is Lucia Torsha Thompson, and with me is Jonathan Urig. And we're talking about Jonathan's trip last month. And if you have any questions or comments, you can give us a call at 610-378-0426. What was that last picture we saw?
That was this is the facade of the tea room.
Of the tea room, okay.
And also, Lucy, they have like a little aquarium, and they have like one down in Baltimore. Actually, they have a big aquarium. But then throughout the mall, they have these smaller aquariums. That right there is a lionfish. Did you ever hear of a lionfish,
No,
Lucy?
I didn't, no.
Lionfish actually is very beautiful, but it's very poisonous. You have to. It's a very toxic fish, so you have to watch those spines. You don't want to get get your
Close to
finger
them, yeah.
caught. It also it's like you'll get toxic, and you can
you'll
die
get-
from
yeah,
that.
wow.
This is just a shot of the different things that are in the amusement park section. They have those chairs that spin around, and they have little trains for the kids, and they have different things. Little free fall machine, a miniature variety.
Yeah, oh my gosh, look at all this.
Yeah. That person there was wearing interesting socks. Did you see the socks on that person? If you can go back to that picture. I don't know if you can see it. They're checkered, so that's why I got a picture of that.
Oh, okay.
With the pink high tops.
Yes.
Here's what I was talking about, the little train that goes
Yeah.
through for the kids.
And that's a merry-go-round, isn't it?
Yes, very family-oriented place.
Well, it's certainly a tourist attraction. People
Yes.
do get there. Oh my.
There's the it's like
actually
Hershey
going.
Park within a mall.
Yeah, yeah. It's enclosed in glass. I mean, it's
Yes,
all.
it is. The roof is glass, and actually, this is a picture of the War Memorial. This is got out of sequence too. This is in Wainwright, Alberta, and this is a clock in the middle of the town. They have a war memorial there for the veterans of World War I and World War II.
Okay. Oh, here we go again.
And
with
back in the mall, they have the Ferris wheel. This is like the kiddie section here. They do have adult rides too. They have something for everybody.
Is it 2 floors only, or more than that?
They have like 3 floors.
3 floors.
Yes. There's another view of the ship on the side.
Are there people in there, in front of the ship there? Like in a little, it almost looks like a little.
No, I don't believe so.
No?
They do
Okay.
have, what they do is they have a submarine that you can, it's on a track and you can ride the submarine
okay.
around too,
Okay.
yes. And then this is the little view of the pet shop. I love pet shops, don't you, Lucy?
Yeah, they're nice. As long as the animals stay in their cages.
Well, they have this. They bring them out for the people. This is just in one of the other sections of the mall. They have a European section. Now, doesn't that look like a scene from Paris?
Yeah.
And they have
yeah.
different stores. It's on like a 3 tiers, and they also have a miniature golf underneath too.
Underneath, oh geez.
I just wanted to get a picture of that statue. It's a woman. I don't know if you can see it very well, but that's a bronze statue of a woman. Different things like that they have throughout the mall. A picture of me.
What did you buy?
Film.
Oh, you bought film.
I have to have film.
Of course.
I took 9 rolls on this trip, Lucy. You had to have that.
Wow.
Here's a shot of the miniature golf I was talking about. I'm just trying to give the viewer just a good overview of
Yeah,
what to
feel of-
expect
yeah,
as they go.
sure.
That's why I'm not really commenting. It's just basically the pictures today.
Exactly.
Okay. There's another shot of the aquarium. And also, Lucy, if you want to try your hand at ice skating or hockey, they also have that.
Well, you know what? I think the hockey team Who is it? The Edmonton Oilers?
Yes.
I think they practice in there. I read that they practice in there.
Yes.
So they do.
You may be right. I don't know. You're probably
because
right.
it's a, what is it? The right size
Uh-huh.
to do
Exactly.
that. So I
It's a
think they do.
regulation size.
That's it. That's what I was
Yeah.
trying to think.
And also they
Regulation
have Irish shops. I don't know if you can read that green sign underneath the Canadian flag. They have Irish shops that just opened.
size. Wow.
Looks like a tropical setting,
Absolutely.
but
It's Edmonton. Was it
Right.
cold?
actually no, it wasn't cold until I got up to Whitehorse, Lucy. It was
Okay.
very warm. It was still in. It was just the beginning of this month, or actually last month now, because
Yeah,
we're in
mhm,
October, but it
yeah.
was still very warm.
Okay.
It was only starting to get cold up in Whitehorse, and even then it was like in the mid-40s, so it wasn't too bad.
But I think they're getting cold now.
Oh, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. That looks like a street, like you said. It
In
could be a
Paris.
street in Paris or.
Yes. Here's a view of the little bridge that they take over. It's like a little suspension bridge.
Aw.
And they also have, there's the submarines I was telling you about earlier. See underneath the bridge there, Lucy?
Yep.
They have a track and you can actually ride in those.
I think you could spend a week in here.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I feel like shopping.
Yeah, well, you know.
It's really neat the way the glass ceiling is reflected in the water. Isn't that
Yeah.
nice, Lucy? And also they have a dolphin show. They have a dolphin show in the mall, and that's a good shot. I just got the dolphin in mid.
As he was jumping up.
As he's jumping up, mid-jump.
Now, I know you didn't stay in any hotels, but are there hotels should people decide to go up there to visit the mall?
Yes. It depends on how much time you're going to spend. You can spend a couple of days here, Lucy. Yes, you can spend time in a hotel. This is the Bourbon Street section where I was telling you about, and there's a statue of Louis Armstrong. And they have different restaurants. They have many eateries. I mean, to satisfy any palate. They have Italian, they have Chinese, they have Japanese, they have, and there's the outside of the mall, looking from the
Okay.
outside, the Aqua Park. It says Aquamarine
Yeah.
or Aqua Park or something like that.
Okay.
And it's just for any palate, for any, they have variety. They just have a big variety, and it's just an amazing place. This is on the road now. This is going up towards British Columbia. And you can see the sky is like a vibrant blue. It's beautiful,
Absolutely.
This is up towards Muncho, I think it's called Muncho Lake.
Okay.
And this is actually after the mall. After the mall, I went to the city of Edmonton, and for the gambler, they have a casino there. If you can see that sign in front of the CN building there.
Now, they're further north than us, so I guess it stayed lighter longer?
Yes, it did, but a month ago the day was
Okay.
longer anyway.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right, Lucy. They are at a more northerly latitude. This is just see those things in the back of the bus, Lucy. If you have luggage, or if you want to ship something, that's the way they ship. They put those little
Oh.
trailers in the back of the bus. This is a station stop in Dawson Creek, British Columbia. This is mile 0 of the Alaska Highway.
Okay.
The Alaska Highway was built by the Army in 1942 because World War II, they were worried that the Japanese were going to get a foothold in Alaska, which was one of our territories then. So it was very quickly done. It was built going some 1,500 miles from Dawson Creek, the zero terminus, to up to Fairbanks, Alaska,
Okay.
which I covered in the last show I
Yeah,
did last year when I went to Alaska.
Right.
There's a picture of me with the scenery in the background. I think that was a very nice picture.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Want to include that. This is Buckinghorse, British Columbia. The names are very interesting up there. And this was every once in a while, Lucy, maybe an hour and a half, the bus stops too if you want to get coffee or a sandwich. That's the amazing thing. You're not on the bus the whole time. That's what I want to emphasize to the viewer. that
I'm
it's
glad.
not-
I'm glad you said that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And around here we have all the deer. You have to really be careful up there. You see that sign that says moose crossing.
Yeah.
A moose is about 1,200 to 1,500 pounds, so
Yep.
you want to be careful. You don't want to run into a moose up there, Lucy.
Absolutely.
Another view of Muncho Lake with the mountain in the background. They have a lot of airstrips up there too, Lucy. A lot of people up there have pilot's licenses because it's just such beautiful scenery, and they operate charter trips. And I wanted to get a picture of the bus with the mountain in the background.
Yeah.
This was during another station.
Another stop.
Not
Yeah.
a station stop, but a view stop. That's a nice picture. You see the vibrant colors of the leaves
Yes.
changing.
Oh, yeah. And that was already September, so
Yes.
Winter comes early for them. We're towards the end of our photographs.
Yes, pretty much. This is the arrival in Whitehorse. This is at 4:30 in the morning.
Oh dear.
Whitehorse, if we have time, we'll probably talk about this next time. I got to talk about Whitehorse next
Okay,
time.
all right.
But basically what it was built up because of the Klondike in the late 19th century, the Klondike, the gold discovery.
Okay.
And that's, it got its name Whitehorse. As you can see, a nice view of the Yukon River with the morning,
The morning mist.
frost. Yes, the morning mist. It got its name because of the white caps from the rapids up there. They look like horses' manes, and that's how it got the name Whitehorse.
There you go.
And we can go in depth more about it next show. I think we're running out of time.
Did you want to show this?
Yes, Lucy. I wanted to let you know. I wanted to give you this little presento. In Whitehorse, I went to a fudge shop, and I wanted to give you this. This is a little piece of fudge, but it's shaped like a bear claw.
So there you
can
see the claws.
The nuts are like the claws. See that?
So thank you.
You're welcome.
My son and I will enjoy it this afternoon. If you'd like to see some of the sites that Jonathan has shown you today, remember to contact your local ASTA travel agency. They can provide you with information, good rates, and above all, they can help you arrange everything. So if you don't have a travel agent, you're on your own. Finally, before we close, I'd like to thank the home viewers who are watching today. I hope that you enjoyed the program. Thank you for sharing your trip with us, Jonathan. If you eat too much of this, what happens?
You get rotten teeth.
Absolutely.
I had to do that for Halloween.
Halloween,
It's October,
yes, it's
okay?
happy Halloween month. So what are we going to do next month? We're going to finish.
We're going to finish this
this?
up, and I think maybe next month I'll have my Barbados pictures developed. Still haven't got those developed
Okay,
yet.
and we'll do that. But you know what? I have, if we can work this out, I have a special guest that's coming next month, if she can make it. We hope that she can. I'm going to have a representative from the Wyomissing Health Club who's going to be talking to us about exercising while on vacation. So that might be interesting, and we can, you know,
Absolutely,
we can do
yes.
some of the exercises because they're probably going to be things that you can do
So,
while you're sitting there, right? Okay, so we'll try that. So please join us the first Thursday of next month at 11:30 for RAC Presents Travel and Tourism. Until then, this is Lucia Torsha Thompson
and Jonathan Urig.
wishing all of you well. Happy Halloween, be safe, and we'll see you next month.
RAC Presents Travel and Tourism is supported by Reading Regional Airport.
Good morning and welcome to RAC Presents Travel and Tourism. My name is Lucia Torsha Thompson and I'm the coordinator of the Travel and Tourism curriculum at Reading Area Community College. This program is dedicated to bringing the home viewer information about the world around us as well as information about the travel industry in general. With me is Jonathan Urig, who's my co-host.
Hi, Lucy. Thanks for having me on again.
Thank you for being here. Jonathan is a flight dispatch supervisor with Allegheny Airlines in Harrisburg. Keep in mind that this television program is underwritten by the Reading Regional Airport, and we're very grateful for their support. Please remember also that the Reading Regional Airport is your link to the rest of the world, and it also is the link that the rest of the world has to us. So when you're ready to take off on a vacation or on a business trip, please think of Reading Regional Airport first. Today what we plan to do is finish Jonathan's Trans-Canadian trip that we didn't really end it, but we ended with
Where we stopped off.
Where we stopped
Yeah.
off 2 months ago. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Italy, because Jonathan went to Italy
June, in the
June.
summertime, yes.
And then in the spirit of Christmas, I'd like to share with you some Christmas traditions that take place in Italy. If you have any questions or comments, the phone number will be on your screen. It's 610-378-0426. And so why don't we start with your pictures?
Okay, Lucy,
And we'll continue with your Trans-Canadian trip.
As you remember from last time, we talked about Edmonton. Last time I was on, we talked about the Edmonton Mall. It has some 900 stores, and I showed you a lot of great pictures. They have the big ship, the sailing ship, and they also have the dolphin show, and it's like going to an amusement park at a mall.
Yeah, right. And I told you that my father had been there when he went to Canada.
Right now, we're going to start, continue with the trip. I have the map here if you want to go over to the map. What we're going to do, the segment now, we're going to talk about the Trans-Alaska Highway, or the Alcan Highway. The Alcan Highway was built in 1942 by the Army, and it starts here in Dawson Creek, and it extends all the way up into northern British Columbia, up into the Yukon, up through Watson Lake, and it goes some 1,500 miles all the way up into Fairbanks. And I was at Fairbanks on a previous trip. And one interesting thing along the route here is Watson Lake. Now, Watson Lake right here, there was a soldier who was homesick during World War II, and what he did was he had a little street sign from his hometown, and he put the street sign in the ground so he wouldn't get very homesick. And it's become a tradition that people bring signs from all over the world. They bring them into Watson Lake, and literally there's a forest of street signs, they call it. And you can go in there, you can see signs from Texas, Pennsylvania, all over Europe, Germany, China, and it's really a great thing. It's really neat. But the Alaska Highway was built in 1942 by the Army because they were worried about a Japanese invasion, and so they wanted the military to build a road to, start getting bases up there. It was a joint, thing done by the Canadian and the U.S. Armies in 1942. And if we can go to the pictures now, I could start showing you some of the scenery from that. Well, actually, this is still in Edmonton. This was after the mall. Downtown Edmonton, and for the gambler, they have a baccarat casino there.
Did you go in?
No, I did not go in, Lucy, but I just want to get a scene street scene. I'm not much of a gambler, as you know, just pretty much just a lottery, but for the gambler, they do have gambling there, too. I believe you asked me about this last time, Lucy. This is if you have luggage or you want to ship something via Greyhound, because remember we did talk about land transportation on this trip. They have these trailers, and that's how they haul the luggage. Or if you have a big thing that's not big enough to fit underneath
the bus.
Yeah, they have trailers that they pull. It's just some of the scenery along the Alcan Highway. This is up towards, not quite Muncho Lake. Muncho Lake is a very large lake that's up there, fresh water. They have a lot of airstrips up there. A lot of people up there have pilot's licenses, and they fly their private planes all over the place. It's really the only way to get around other than the highway that we've traveled.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's really a means of transportation. Like we get in our car, they will get in their planes.
Right. It was a very nice day, as you can see. It was hardly a cloud in the sky. It's a good day for a bus trip. Just a street scene, or actually along the highway here. I had a picture of me shot with the scenery in the background. It was a good photo opportunity.
Yes, and it also proves that you were there.
Yes. Just some more, I think the next series of pictures actually are just different scenes. You can just pretty much just take it in and just see the beauty of the place.
And this is from the bus that as you were going through.
Yeah, this is northern British Columbia I'm in right now. This is, I think it's just south of Watson Lake.
Okay.
Between Watson Lake and Fort St. John.
Okay.
One of the many side trips we took, this was, you'll see places like this advertised in the Milepost if people subscribe to the Milepost, which is a yearly or quarterly book that's put out by this company about traveling in Alaska and the Northwest. They have these eateries along the way. This one's called the Toad River Cafe, and they have very good food there. I would highly recommend it, and very reasonably priced too.
They usually are that way.
Yes, and it's good for a break. And inside, I think the next picture has a bunch of hats. See, that's what it's known for, all the hats hanging from the ceiling there.
Oh, neat. Probably sports figures and
Yes,
race car
different
drivers
teams and,
yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
This actually is Muncho Lake, that body of water that you see there through the trees. And I was there in September, and this gives a good indication of how the leaves change. September,
Oh, yeah.
obviously, because it's more north,
mhm.
the leaves change at a much earlier time.
That's a pretty postcard picture, you know?
Yes.
You should think about doing that.
Thank you, Lucy. This is my arrival at 4:30 a.m. in Whitehorse, Yukon. As you can see, it's very dark. We had just pulled in on the bus, and I was looking for a coffee shop because I was just getting my bearings before I do my sightseeing, and I did find a Tim Hortons. A Tim Horton is like a Dunkin' Donuts of Canada.
Okay.
You don't see them down here, but they do have them all over Canada. This is the SS Klondike, which is an old paddle wheeler from the 1800s, back when they had the Klondike Gold Rush, and the area really started building up. A lot of people traveled this way along the Yukon River, and right now it's a museum. Obviously, it's no longer in use, but so it gives you a good indication of the time period and what the travel was like back then.
Yeah, you wouldn't think of a paddle boat up on the Yukon, though. You'd
Well,
think a paddle
Yukon
boat-
is a very large river.
Yeah,
You'll see it.
but you wouldn't think of it. I mean, you think of paddle boats on the Mississippi, but not on the Yukon.
Yes, I guess I see your point, Lucy, yes. This is morning around 6 o'clock, and as you can see, the fog, it's very
Yeah.
good effect, this picture with the fog along the water here. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning this picture was taken. All along the streets of Whitehorse, you see these buildings, and they have these murals depicting what life was like back in the Klondike. You might see scenes of snow-capped mountains or a couple of miners doing their thing. It's really something to see, all these big murals they have along the buildings up there. This is the Gold Rush Inn. This is one of the hotels they have, and I want to get a picture of the lobby with the moose head and all. It's very homey looking, isn't it? But they do have a very excellent restaurant in there called the Casca Restaurant,
Okay.
and it was early morning and had a nice omelet in there.
You didn't stay there, though, did you?
I didn't stay there, but I'm sure it's a good establishment. Highly recommend. And from what I understand, it's reasonably priced. There's a view of the outside of it, the Gold Rush Inn. This is very interesting, Lucy. What I want to get a picture here is this restaurant here is called the No Pop Sandwich Shop. And I was curious as to why they call it No Pop Sandwich Shop, and I looked at the menu and they don't serve soda.
No soda. That's right.
It's
We
unusual.
call it soda. They call it pop.
Yes. Out in Pittsburgh they call it pop too. You
Yeah,
know
in
that?
Wisconsin they do that, too.
Here, Lucy, is the Whitehorse and Yukon Railroad, and what this was the original, during the Klondike period again, we had miners going from this area all the way down towards Alaska to stake their claim. And as of today, they still have this route, and it's very scenic. I didn't do it on this trip. I didn't have time, but I'm going to do it on another trip. What it is sightseeing. It goes for about 8 hours, and I think it costs $75 round trip. You can go from Whitehorse to Skagway, Alaska, and back, or you can take it from Skagway if you're coming from the other end to Whitehorse, and it's very good. It takes about 8 hours a day to do that, during the day to do that. So it's good. It's good for a day trip. You know,
yeah.
it's a good thing to do while you're up there. You'll see like mountain passes, and you'll see narrow. You're going over bridges. You see big, wide waterways. You're going over the the ocean there, the Arctic Ocean. Well, not the Arctic, but the Pacific.
Yeah,
The Arctic
yeah.
is more north of that.
And you're going to do that again?
Yes, I'll probably do it when it gets warmer. This is one of the transportation museums they have. Unfortunately, it was closed when I was there, but they do have some exhibits, like static displays outside on the front yard, and I was lucky enough to get this picture of this old engine. This engine probably dates from about the 1880s.
Yeah, it's pretty old.
Yeah. And that's pretty much what we covered with that Northwest trip. That was the end of that.
That was the end of the Northwest trip?
This trip,
Okay.
what we're going to do now is I took a train from Madrid, Spain, all the way over to Italy, and this is one of the station stops. This is in Montpellier, France.
Okay.
And Montpellier, France is right on the French Riviera, It's a good time of year to be in the French Riviera, but because, you know, the temperature, it's very nice and warm. Although, remember last year they had problems with the brush fires?
Yeah.
Because it was like one of the hottest summers on
Yes.
record.
Right,
This
a
was
lot
in
of-
June before all that happened. I think that happened in August.
Yeah, and a lot
But-
of, in France, a lot of older people died
Yes.
because they had no air conditioning.
As you can see, it was a
Yeah.
very nice day here.
Yeah.
And I love the warm weather, as you know, Lucy.
I know that. In case you're just joining us, you're watching RAC Presents Travel and Tourism. My name is Lucia Torsha Thompson, and with me today is Jonathan Urich. And we are moving on to the topic of Italy. And Jonathan just introduced it by telling us that he was on a train from Spain. And
Yes,
now you're
from
on the
Madrid.
From Madrid.
All the way up to the French Riviera and down into, I think we went to Venice first.
Let me
me
ask
and
you this.
person.
How was it traveling through the Pyrenees?
It was very scenic, actually. A
Was
very
it?
nice time of year. You see a lot of grapes growing along and crops growing along the mountainside. Very nice.
So and the train, I know that in Spain was the only country that did not have the same gauge. The railroad track was not the same as the rest of Europe. Has that changed now?
I think they do have with the same gauge, because I remember we had to change in Nice, France.
Okay.
But I just think that was just a station stop.
That was-
I don't think it had anything to do with the gauge of the train, of the width of the track. I think it was pretty much the same all the way up.
Yeah, because Spain at
through.
one time had been, was not part of the whole system because they had a different gauge.
Right.
So
right.
anyway, that's good to know. If we want to go back to the photographs,
This is in Florence now, Lucy, and what you're seeing now is Giotto's bell tower. This is the Church of Our Lady of the Flowers in Florence. This was built, I believe, around 1149. I could be wrong about that, but what was the amazing thing about this church is up to about 100 years ago, it was very plain on the outside. All that ornate decoration was done just within the past 100 years.
you know, I think I have some, or my mother has some black and white pictures of this. From 1954 when she and my father were married. They went to Florence.
Very nice. You know, Giotto, getting back to Giotto, Lucy, we should talk about him a little bit. Giotto was very famous in Florence, and what he did was, he was the painter that first brought the facial expressions in the people's faces in the painting. Before that time, they had the Byzantine with the gold background, and if you see Byzantine art, it's very, there's no expression on the faces, very plain. Giotto is the one that first introduced, you know, emotion and expression in the painting. We can go back to the picture now. This is one of the doors of the cathedral. As you can see, it's very ornate with all the hand sculpture there.
And they tell a story.
Yes, well, that tells a story, but the one that really is very famous are the baptistry doors, because they have they're gold doors, and they depict different scenes from the Bible and panels. You know, like Adam and Eve and Noah and the Ark, etc. And it's very nice to see. A lot of tour groups you see around there. It's kind of hard to get a picture.
I know, yeah.
This is Brunelleschi's masterpiece. This is the dome. And on a clear day, you can go up on top. If you look closer, you can see people up there. And you can get a very wide view of Florence. This is some of the sculpture you see in the piazza in Florence. This is down towards the City Hall of Florence, and this is Neptune's statue. They have one dedicated to Neptune. Michelangelo did most, or if not all, of these statues, and as you know, Lucy, one famous thing you see in Florence is at the Accademia is the David statue. I do not have pictures of it here, unfortunately, but I don't know if you're allowed to take pictures of that.
I don't know.
But that's very interesting to see if you ever have a chance to go to Florence. Did you ever see that, Lucy?
I did.
Accademia? Oh,
I did. I
okay.
did go in. We were there very briefly, but we did go.
Yes. And this is just more of that same fountain outside the City Hall. These are the other statues. Unfortunately, they're green. Look like they're getting weathered.
Yeah.
They're losing a lot of their color. This, I believe, is Garibaldi on a horse. Garibaldi, of course, was the one who unified Italy up till about 1867. constitutionally, Italy is younger than the United States.
Absolutely.
But up until about 1867, Italy was nothing more than a lot of ununited provinces. Like you had Umbria, you had Tuscany, and what Garibaldi did was he united the whole country of Italy as one.
And there's statues of him all over.
Yes.
in one way or another, he's either sitting on a horse or standing.
Yeah.
Yep.
This, I believe, is one of the tombs. I think this is Gioacchino Rossini, and what he's known for is the William Tell Overture,
Oh, yeah, okay.
otherwise known as the Lone Ranger song. And this is his tomb. It's in the. I think this is in Santa Croce now. He's not in the main cathedral. He's in Santa Croce, which is another cathedral in Florence. I think that's another view of it there. Oh, I think this is Rossini's tomb. The first one we saw was somebody else. It was Galileo.
That's right.
Galileo.
You
This
said it
is
was Galileo,
Rossini's
yeah.
tomb here.
Okay.
And for a tip for leather lovers, people who love to buy leather, Florence is probably one of the best places to buy leather. And at Santa Croce, they have a leather school. You can go and you get wallets, and you can get purses and belts and different leather goods. And if you buy there, they'll even embroider it for you. They'll put for free. They'll put your initials on the leather. I got a wallet like that, with my initials on it.
It probably wasn't that expensive either, was it?
I think it's actually a little more reasonable than what you buy out in the square. I think a little more authentic too. I don't know if you can trust a lot of the stuff that you buy out in the square. It might be counterfeit.
Yeah, that's it.
At least if you buy from the school, it's genuine.
Right.
You know.
I like this picture, Jonathan, because it shows a typical what the structures look like, and
Right.
we have the roof. I don't know what you call the roof like that.
Not Spanish tile,
Not
but
yet.
I forget what they call it. But you're right, Lucy. And a lot of, if you go to Florence, you see a lot of these windows. You see a lot of the windows are not even. You might see one window that's real small, and you might see another window up above it that's maybe off center and a little bit bigger. And that's because over the years, those buildings had many uses. And over time, they changed it according to what the occupant needed. That's why you don't see very symmetrical windows there. You'll see them just all over the
Right,
wall.
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep. Absolutely.
This is the Medusa statue. As you know from mythology, Medusa was the one that severed the head of the. I forget what the person name had the snakes for hair.
Yeah.
I forget. And maybe Medusa was the one that had the
Yeah,
snake for
yeah.
hair. And then you can see the statue depicting that. And this is the tomb of Brunelleschi. Brunelleschi, again, was the one who designed the dome of the main cathedral. And underneath the crypt, they have this, next to the gift shop, actually, they have his tomb. This is a scene on the Arno River. This is the Ponte Vecchio, which means old bridge in Italian. And what the Ponte Vecchio was a narrow passageway where the Medicis, who were the ruling family in the Middle Ages during the Renaissance, where they could go from their home over to the other side of the Arno to their other palace without having to, hobnob with the common people.
Right.
They had their own walkway here, and over time, what they did was they built, shops on the Ponte Vecchio, and now it's one of the, probably one of the best places to go shopping.
Well, there's a lot of gold
Jewelry,
jewelry,
all kinds of
yeah.
things. You can get leather goods there. You can get shoes, even ice cream. You can get there right off the
really?
Ponte Vecchio. Yes, gelato, but. It's mostly known for its jewelry, and it's, it's more elegant things.
Exactly.
The Arno River, Lucy, getting back to that was in 1966. They had a flood.
Yes.
And what happened was a lot of the artwork in the Uffizi Gallery, which was the main gallery in Florence, flooded. And unfortunately, a lot of them were damaged. And that was in 1966. That's the last bad flood they had in Florence.
Yeah, and we were there when I was very little, a year before that, 1965, and my mother would travel to Florence on some other business that she had, and she said that out in the square there would be flowers all over.
Right.
And then when my sister and I went in 1975, everything was gone.
Right.
Because of the flood.
Yeah.
It had taken away everything.
Yes. There was a funny sidelight to that. What happened was, back in the old days, Florence used to dump their garbage in the Arno River, and the thing was, the Arno flows out to the Mediterranean through Pisa, And the Pisans didn't like that. The people from Pisa, because they get all their garbage coming down, flowing from Florence. What happened in 1966 is when they had the big flood, all the jewelry flooded from the Ponte Vecchio and went down to Pisa, so that was like the payback.
Oh, yes.
So that was a famous expression they talk about.
I'm
That was
sure-
like the reward for all the garbage they got from Florence.
Exactly. I'm sure they were very happy.
We're in Venice now, Lucy. This is the Church of Salute, and what salute means is health.
Health, yeah.
And the reason they call it this is because back in the 9th century, I think it's 9th century, there was a big epidemic. And what happened was the original settlement of Venice was not where it is today. The original settlement of Venice was on an island called Torcello, and you can take a boat ride to Torcello. It's not very far away, maybe about 15, 20 minutes by boat. And then the people moved from Torcello onto what is now present-day Venice. And this church was built in, in recognition or in, Thanksgiving for the epidemic going away.
I see.
Hence the name Salute,
Salute,
health.
yeah.
This is just one of the narrow canals you'll see in Venice. Venice is one of my favorite cities in Europe, Lucy. It's very unique. I like the uniqueness of it, and I like walking around at night when it's not many people around.
Nice and quiet.
And it's very safe too. It's very safe. This is a picture of me by the Rialto Bridge. The Rialto Bridge is mentioned in Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice. Anybody's familiar with Shakespeare. And that's sort of like the Ponte Vecchio also. They have, there's the Grand Canal there, and they have a lot of nice restaurants along there, and people shop on the Rialto Bridge also.
Do you have a lot more after this,
I
Jonathan?
think a few, yeah, a few.
Okay. Because I want to just get my little
Yes, why don't
thing
you
about...
start with your...
Should I talk about Christmas
yes,
a little bit?
Yes, because it is the season for it.
Well, let's just switch gears for just a second and talk a little bit about Christmas. Christmas in Italy is a religious event. Before anything else goes up, the manger scene is put up, and the manger scene is called the presepio, and I have a picture of it. Actually, there's two pictures of it. This is the tradition this is a tradition that goes back to 1223 when St. Francis of Assisi set one up to help the people better understand the Holy Scriptures. The nativity scene is repeated and displayed in houses, in churches, or public gathering places. The nativity scene can be small enough to set on a table, or it could even be life-sized. Another very big tradition in Italy is food, and it's a very important tradition in the Italian Christmas. There are all types of delicious food. One tradition that I remember was that the Christmas Eve meal, during the Christmas Eve meal, you had to eat 13 things. That's what my father would say. You had to eat 13 things for good luck. Bacala was always served on Christmas Eve. Bacala is a dried, salted cod, which has a strong fishy smell. Have you ever had bacala?
Yes, I believe I have.
did.
Yes.
My mother would fry it, and actually you'd have to soak it for a couple of weeks, I think, prior to Christmas Eve, and then my mom would fry it, and my father would totally enjoy this dish, and we would think that it smelled. But anyway, in Rome, the traditional dish of Christmas Eve is capitone. Do you know what that is?
What is that, Lucy?
Capitone is a large, baked, roasted, or fried eel. Actually, it has to be a female eel.
Oh.
On Christmas Day, there's another eating bonanza. A typical meal consists of Parma ham, salami, olives, and various other finger foods. Then you'll eat soup or broth. There's pasta dishes like lasagna, fettuccine, and/or tortellini that follow. Next, there's a selection of roasted or deep-fried meats and vegetables and various salads. And finally, the dessert course comes next. Now, on the slide that you saw before was panettone. Panettone means big bread. It's made with a leavened sweet dough, and it's filled with raisins, currants, and candied fruit. It's delicious.
That sounds good, Lucy.
It is very good. Another dessert is torrone. Torrone is an elongated cake that's very sweet. It's made with lots of sugar, almonds, nuts, pistachios, and honey. My favorite, however, and I have to say this, my favorite is struffoli. This is a dessert that's made, it's made from dough in the shape of little balls, and they're fried. And the little balls are then taken from the pan and set on a plate They're covered with plenty of honey or powdered sugar. And the reason I wanted to say this is because I hope my mother makes them for Christmas this year. So, Mom, I expect to have them. My sister and I love them. The last thing that I'd like to show you is the Befana. The Befana is another tradition of Italy. And I remember as a child, we used to wait for the Befana on January the 6th, which is the Feast of the Epiphany. Of course, Santa Claus would bring us toys and things on the 25th, but the Befana was a special time also. And in the traditional Christmas in Italy, you have the Befana as well. I noticed that we have a very short period of time. I'd like to thank Jonathan for joining me. Where are we going to go to in February?
Barbados.
Barbados.
I promise I'll have the pictures.
You'll have the pictures of Barbados. Before I close, I'd like to thank all of the home viewers for tuning in.
My mom's graduating
I was just going to
also.
say that.
Yes, thank you.
We hope that you enjoyed the program. I'd like to send along special congratulations to Jonathan's mother, who graduates from Alvernia College on December 16th with a bachelor's degree in English literature. So congratulations to her. Congratulations to all the December graduates. We'll see you again in February. Until then, this is Lucia Torsha Thompson and
Jonathan Uhrig.
Wishing everyone a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. Stay well until we see you again.
Buon Natale.
Buon Natale.
RAC Presents Travel and Tourism is supported by Reading Regional Airport.
From all walks of life, different races, classes.
RAC Presents Travel and Tourism is supported by Reading Regional Airport.
It's about a 4-hour flight.
Good morning, and welcome to RAC Presents Travel and Tourism. My name is Lucia Torsha Thompson, and I'm the coordinator of the Travel and Tourism curriculum at Reading Area Community College. We're able to bring you this program, which is dedicated to bringing you information about destinations around the world, as well as information about the travel industry in general, through the generosity of Reading Regional Airport, who underwrites this program. We welcome your questions or comments throughout the program, and we invite you to call into the number that will be on your screen. It's 610-378-0426. With me again today is Jonathan Urich,